Most people fail to fix jumper's knee because they don't have the right plan. They just jump from exercise to exercise, hoping for the best. Unfortunately, tendons don't heal that way. They heal through progressive overload, where we're increasing intensities in the right ways and in the right times. So in this video, we're going to be going over my 4-phase plan that I used to help fix my jumper's knee after I was struggling with it for about a year. Hey guys, Dr. Neil Toussaint with TrickStrong.com, where we help you do what you want, even when pain, weakness, or fear get in your way. So if you trick, you run, you vault, you do parkour, you do martial arts, you do explosive movement, cut, pivot, run, sprint, all those things can be completely shut down by jumper's knee. And I know personally, because that's what I dealt with when I was traveling the world, tricking and performing for about a year. I was just going, and I was not taking care of my rehab. And that's when I had this overuse injury, also known as patellar tendinopathy. So the patellar tendon gets overloaded, it loses capacity, you feel pain, you're not able to jump or produce as much force or power that you need to do your thing. The only way mine got better was when I committed to a structured plan, such as the one that we're going to be going over in this video. This 4-phase system isn't just random rehab, it is a proven framework that's going to rebuild your tendon from the ground up. It's going to allow you to get back to doing what you love. So let's go. Phase 1 is going to be all about isometrics. Isometrics are going to do 3 very important things for us so that we can move on to future phases. The first thing it's going to do for us is going to reduce pain in the tendon. So we want to reintroduce load without flare-ups, and that's the key point of this phase. So if you're still having pain with daily activities, daily movement, basic things, then you need to start in phase 1. The next thing it's going to do is going to help load the tendon. It's going to help rebuild that tendon, rebuild capacity so that we have the strength to go forward. And the third thing it's going to do is going to help us maintain the strength that we do have so that we're not losing quad strength as much as we would if we did not incorporate these isometrics. Complete rest, as we said in our previous videos, is going to be the worst thing that you can do for this issue, so you need to start in phase 1. Key exercises we can use in this phase are wall sit isometrics, and we can do that at the very start because they're very low load. So if you're having a lot of pain, I would start here. Next, you can progress to the Spanish squat isometrics and or leg extension isometrics. And those last 2, we actually program very often in our in-person rehab, as well as on the TrickStrong RX app in our jumper's knee protocol. With these isometrics, you're going to choose one exercise and you're going to do it for 5 sets of 45 seconds daily. You can switch up the exercises throughout the week, and this is actually the approach I like to use so that we can target different areas of the tendon and just give variety in our movement. If you're going to do 2 exercises in the day, I would choose that second exercise at a lower volume. So once you're starting to progress, almost getting to phase 2, you can add that second exercise. So the first one might be 5 sets of 45 seconds, and the second exercise that you choose might be 3 sets of 30 to 45 seconds. Getting your pain under control is step 1, but feeling better does not mean that you're done. In phase 2, we introduce heavy, slow resistance training, and the purpose of this is to rebuild the tendon with progressive load. So if we progressively load the tendon with heavy resistance, we're going to trigger adaptation in that tendon and allow it to get bigger and get more robust so that we can handle higher loads and higher forces in the next phases. Another key is that we're doing it slowly. So we're actually increasing that time under tension, but we're also doing it in a way where it's not going to irritate the tendon right now. Because as we know, tendons store and release energy similar to a spring. So if we're doing that quick compression and release over and over, that's actually going to overload the tendon, and that's what jumping is, and that's what ballistic activities are. So by starting with this slower but heavy resistance, we rebuild the tendon from the ground up. And this is, again, going to really trigger that adaptation that we want so that we can handle those higher forces. Key exercises in this phase are going to be leg extensions. We could use Spanish squats, but not the isometric version. Now we're going to actually squat through the full range of motion. We can use leg press if you have access to it. And then lastly, if you can tolerate it, maybe towards the middle to end of phase 2, we can incorporate decline squats and decline pistol squats in order to really load that tendon. As you progress through phase 2, you're going to start with a higher rep range with lighter weights, and then you're going to progress to a lower rep range with heavier weights. The idea is that we're progressing from about 15 reps per set to 6 reps per set. And as you do that, you're going to get heavier and heavier until you're able to handle that without increased flare-ups. Strength is only going to be a part of this equation. Next, we have to teach the tendon how to store and release energy again, and that is what phase 3 is going to be all about. In phase 3, we reintroduce low-level plyometrics, which are basically jumping and bounding type of activities. And as we know, that's going to load the patellar tendon the most, so we need to be strategic in this progression. It's very easy to overdo it here, so we really want to start light and progress gradually. These exercises are designed to rebuild our springs basically, so rebuild our tendons' ability to store and release energy. So we want to start off with things such as pogo jumps with 2 feet, jump rope, controlled box jumps or vertical jumps, and controlled drop jumps. These exercises are going to be easier to control, but are also going to help rebuild that capacity. Our focus in this phase is going to be on stiffness, control, smooth landings, and it's really going to help us rebuild our athletic ability so that we can really hit the ground running in phase 4. Even if you're bouncing around well at this point with very minimal pain, that's going to be great, but that's not going to be exactly where we need to be in order to handle tricking, parkour, martial arts, running, jumping, sprinting, all that aggressive movement, and that's where our final phase is going to come in. Phase 4 is all about sport-specific loading. We need to get that tendon beyond where it was at before you got injured. So we're going to really get aggressive here. We're going to be doing things that would mimic the tendon loading you would experience during flipping, jumping, cutting, sprinting, etc. And we need to do those exact activities in order to get it there. Of course, we're going to be progressive as we've been, but by the end of this phase, it should be more aggressive than the sport that you actually do. And our goals here are going to be to bulletproof the tendon under maximal load, return to sport, and avoid re-injury. Some key elements we need to use in this phase are single leg jumps, controlled accelerations up to full-on sprints, drop jumps and depth jumps from higher heights. We need to use low reps with high effort, high intensity, and full rest between sets so that we're really putting the maximal force that we can through this tendon. We're training for the ability to handle these massive forces without breaking down. To fix jumper's knee the right way, we now know that in phase 1, we're going to calm the pain down and reintroduce safe loading with isometrics. In phase 2, we're going to reintroduce strength and start to remodel that tendon with heavy, slow resistance. In phase 3, we're going to rebuild our elastic storage capacity using controlled plyometrics. And in phase 4, we're going to return to sport safely and effectively using sport-specific drills in order to rebuild that tendon. And if you skip a phase, you now know that you risk getting stuck, or worse, you risk flaring up that knee again and restarting the process all over again. If you want a complete step-by-step rehab plan that guides you through these phases safely and is designed for movement artists and creative athletes such as yourself, then definitely check out the TrickStrong RX app. We have our jumper's knee protocol, and it's got you from phase 1 through phase 4. It's going to help rebuild that tendon resilience in a safe, progressive way that's going to fit into the way that you train. And if you haven't yet, definitely check out the rest of our Jumper's Knee series here on YouTube. Part 1 is going to cover the 3 common mistakes that everybody makes when they are dealing with jumper's knee, and part 2 is going to cover the tests that you can use to make sure that you're actually dealing with a patellar tendon issue. In this series, you're going to learn exactly where you are and what your next steps should be. And if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, and let us know in the comments below what you're going to use to implement in your training to help with your jumper's knee. All right, guys, train hard, stay safe, and we'll see you soon for the next one.